Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chatham House. I'm Robin Niblett, Director of the Institute, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you today for a talk and a discussion about Pakistan in a changing regional and global environment. And let me just say welcome as well to our members who are joining us online. For the web stream, we'll be taking questions from you as well as you send them in via the internet if you wish to do so. But it's also my very great pleasure, obviously, to welcome here our speaker today, Hina Rabbani Khar, the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs of Pakistan. Delighted to be able to take advantage of your visit to London to be able to have you come and speak to us today. My colleagues at Chatham House, Gareth Price and others who work on South Asia in general, Pakistan, India and so on, have obviously long had an interest in what is one of the most fascinating countries at the heart of much that takes place in international affairs today. And we'll have no shortage of topics to be able to discuss once we've heard your remarks. Ms. Khar became the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs in July, July of last year, 2011, having served in an acting capacity from February that year. Prior to that, having been re-elected to Parliament, or to the National Assembly in 2008, she was the Minister of State for Economic and Financial Affairs, and in fact joined the National Assembly in 2002. So she's in her second term and serves as a Minister for Economic Affairs as well in her first term. This reflects, I think it would be fair to say, your educational background, where she did her degree in economics, including an MSc at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. She is a frequent speaker on panels and representing Pakistan's view of the world. Has had a lot of engagement as well in developments, economic developments within Pakistan, and also a lot of the development fora that take place around Pakistan. It's a pleasure to have you join us for your first time, I think, and your first visit to our institute. We look forward to your remarks and look forward to engaging in conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. A good afternoon to everyone, and thank you, Mr. Niblett, for giving me this opportunity. The first thing he told me as I entered Chatham House was that Chatham House rules do not apply.
Not for this meeting.
So I will be careful. But I will assume that Chatham House rules apply because Pakistan, I think, has an open story to tell. Now, to me, the topic today is of great interest. The topic of Pakistan in a changing regional and global context. And while the region and the world changes, I think this region, the region that I come from, has changed more than the world. Since we do not have a lot of time, let me come right to the point. Now, whichever direction we look in today, there's little doubt that the world is changing. So the degree of change may be different, but the world is changing, and it is changing rapidly. And many of these changes we're seeing taking place have evolved over many, many years. Some confirm the universality of the values of democracy and freedom. Others are challenging the long-held orthodoxies about the efficiency of the markets and the costs of the unfettered pursuit of profits. And as England, I think you are experiencing both at their best, where democracy is working and the markets seem to be not working so well. Most of these changes have far-reaching implications for all of us. The global financial crisis, the Arab Spring, the difficulties faced by the Eurozone, the rise or the true rise of the BRIC countries, the Turkish economy, there is great anxiety in some regions, and there's great hope in others. Some of the fiscal challenges faced by European countries, for example, make Pakistan's less than 5% budget deficit, which we keep on getting lectured over, seem a bit trivial, on paper at least. Now, budget deficits are no walk in the park, and they have real implications, and we understand that. Being from Pakistan, where poverty continues to be a challenge to this generation also, we are fully aware of its implications. We share in the anxiety and the fears of our friends in Europe and elsewhere in the world, in part out of our friendship and empathy, and in part because of pure self-interest. Now, what I want to spend in great detail and almost bore you to detail is on a topic which has been given in Pakistan's lap and answered by others than Pakistanis. The whole question of what is what is the national interest that Pakistan defines for itself, and how does Pakistan as a nation pursue that national interest vis-a-vis itself and vis-a-vis the world, especially its neighbors. Now, this narrative which has developed in the world has confined us to an extent where I feel as a Pakistani that it has started to define my national interest in a way which is not real. So Pakistan's national interest is actually very simple, and let me take an easy go at it. It is very, very easy to understand, and let me try and make an effort to make you understand it. We want to live a prosperous life in accordance with our values. There are almost 200 million Pakistanis. 200 million, I want you to understand the number, 200 million Pakistanis. We want this prosperous life for each and every one of us. Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who actually gave us our constitution, coined the phrase, roti, kapra aur makan. Food, clothing, and place to live as the very basis of the political ideology of the Pakistan People's Party. That is our national interest, a life of dignity and of prosperity for all Pakistanis. To secure this prosperity, what do we need? We need our economy to grow, and we need our economy to grow rapidly and consistently. To grow rapidly and consistently, what do we need? We need peace, we need security, we need stability, and we need it at home as much as we need it in the region that we occupy. And we certainly need it across the wider world. So this is Pakistan's national interest. It starts here and it ends here. Peace, security, and stability that paves the way for economic growth that enables prosperity in Pakistan for every Pakistani. So what is Pakistan doing in pursuit of this national interest? This is an important and a valuable question. I mean that if you have come here today with the preconceived notions that I referred to earlier, it is important to start listening to each other. It is important to shed those preconceived notions aside and start looking at facts as they exist on the ground. So if we're really interested in learning and understanding what Pakistan is doing in pursuit of its national interest, one of the greatest challenges for all of us as members of the world community is to stop assuming that we already know and start listening to each other. And I mean each other. We need to do a better job of listening to our friends. So let us begin here today at Chatham House. We have to put to rest what we think we know through leaks, through disinformation, and through one-sided narratives that are fanciful, that are unrealistic, and that are most of all insulting to the 200 million Pakistanis that I represent over here, who seek only to live in prosperity and with dignity. Pakistan cannot change the geography of South and Central Asia. It cannot change its neighbors. And guess what? We do not want to change our neighbors. We are very appreciative of the wonderful and rich diversity of our neighbors, of China, of India, of Iran, of Afghanistan, each one of them. We are proud to be in this neighborhood. To extend this appreciation and affinity from merely mutual cultural admiration to the realm of international public policy, Pakistan is pursuing a single-minded policy of transformational change with its neighbors, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that the world is noticing. Whatever the dispute, whatever the context, we have initiated a dialogue with India that we want to be uninterrupted and uninterruptible. And by the way, this is a phrase that I have borrowed from an Indian civil servant and now a politician, not a Pakistani. We have begun trade liberalization with India. The more we trade with each other, the more normal our neighborhood will start to appear. This is a commitment that we believe is irreversible in the Pakistani system. It is a commitment which is born out of national consensus. And people talk about how the national interest is defined by many agencies in Pakistan. Let me just assure you that every agency in Pakistan is confined to doing its job and takes doing its job seriously. It is the job of the military and intelligence agencies to define our national security interest or to tell us of what the national security risks are. But the job of the Ministry of Industry, of the Ministry of Trade, of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are to define what our national interests are to the leadership, to the elected leadership. And from there emerges the consensus in what is the true national interest of the people of Pakistan, of the 200 million people of Pakistan. Everything else, let me assure you, is gossip. So with our neighbor India, despite the presence of significant challenges, including the long-held dispute over Jammu and Kashmir, and the common challenge of terrorism that we both face today, we are forging ahead. We will, inshallah, not stop until our vision of a completely normalized region is fulfilled. No region, ladies and gentlemen, has been successful without a normalization of terms between big neighbors. The European Union, the ASEAN region, are models that we in SAARC, in South Asia, aspire to. India's leaders owe it to their people. Pakistani leaders and us owe it to our people. We have to pursue this path of normalization. It is something that we define to be in Pakistan's national interest. With Iran, we've always enjoyed a reasonably friendly relationship. Our relationship is one of good neighbors. We realize that there are risks to Iran's stability today. Those risks pose a dire threat to the entire region, a region which is already not very stable, a region which has already suffered from 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of strife in Afghanistan. So we say once again that whatever our friends in the West are concerned about, they must address these concerns by talking to our friends in Iran. Talk first, talk second, and talk last. That is the only path to resolution of the challenges in Iran today. Any use of force with Iran poses the kinds of risks that no region and this world certainly must not be subjected to. With China, we have a bond of friendship whose consistency and fidelity is a source of constant strength to both Pakistan and China. Our mutually beneficial partnership with China is a source of even more goodwill for the countries in the region. And I think in the next few years, we will see that showing itself. The Pakistan-China partnership helps us become better partners and friends with all the other countries. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the most important capital for Pakistan, Kabul, Afghanistan. Now, this is the relationship that we know the most. This is the relationship that we value the most. We know Afghanistan, and Afghanistan knows us. We are intertwined. We are like conjoined twins, as President Karzai puts it. Our destinies are interlinked. We share a porous border. We share languages. We share culture. We share music. We share food. We share poetry. We share the grief of decades of conflict. And we share the dead bodies, the broken lives, and the valor and bravery of the sons of both Pakistan and Afghanistan. Those who have given their lives in the pursuit of a better Afghanistan and a better Pakistan. Those who have died in the pursuit of peace over the last few decades in thousands of numbers. But we share much, much more also. And the reason that it is not so well known so well known to the world is because of our peculiar culture in Pakistan. It is counter to Pakistani culture to speak from the top of our lungs about what we have done for our own family or for our neighbor. Afghanistan is family to us. It is our most important neighbor. We do not say this. We feel it, we live it. But I am going to bore you with the details of what Pakistan has done for Afghanistan or what Afghanistan means to Pakistan today, because I think it is important to do it to counter the narrative which has constantly been haunting this relationship, the bilateral track, and Pakistan's space within the world stage and certainly within the region. So now this cultural habit of doing things without advertising has, as I said, allowed some ill intentions to create a ridiculous narrative that somehow pits us as Pakistan against our brothers in Afghanistan. This tries to suggest that Pakistan could ever support anything but peace, stability, and security in Afghanistan. Now, I want to remind you over here that despite our affinity and closeness, peace, stability, and security in Afghanistan is important to us, not because of our bonds of brother and sisterhood with Afghanistan, but because of selfish interests of Pakistan to be able to have peace and security within its own borders. So it is selfless if you want to look at it in terms of our neighborly, friendly relations with them, but it is also a selfish pursuit to be able to gain our own prosperity, to be able to gain our own stability. To grow rapidly and consistently, we need peace, we need security, and we need stability. I just said that. We need it at home, and we certainly need it in the region that we occupy. This is indeed Pakistan's national interest. That is why we are pursuing normalization with India. That is why we want stability in Iran. That is why we will continue to follow a course of friendship with China. And that is why we are interested most of all in peace, stability, and security in Afghanistan. And before I go into the details of what Afghanistan means to us or what Pakistan does for us, I want you to pause for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and look at what has happened to Pakistan ever since becoming a frontline state and a partner to the international community in the pursuit of peace and stability in Afghanistan. Pakistan is a country which has lost its stability in the last 10 years in being an international partner to secure peace and stability for Afghanistan. Pre-9/11, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan had only one suicide bomb attack inside Pakistani territory. Today, we have so many that I have lost count. Hundreds in number, losing 30,000 of our civilians, 5,000 military people, around 6,000 paramilitary policemen, all to be able to fight these extremist elements within Pakistan, and to be able to be a frontline state in this effort to bring peace and stability within the region. So how have we sought this? How have we sought security and stability in Afghanistan? Now, first of all, since the coming of this government, of the PPP, early in 2008, President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani have single-mindedly, and I repeat the word single-mindedly, pursued the building of trust and closeness with Kabul. They have been supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our diplomats, and they have been supported by the security establishment. Our trips to Kabul have been multifarious, and we are proud that we enjoy both collective and individual trust with President Karzai, from President Zardari, to Prime Minister Gilani, to myself as Foreign Minister, and the heads of our military and intelligence communities. And we have invested in trying to build that trust over the last 4 years. The only foreign head of state invited to President Zardari's swearing-in ceremony was President Karzai. The only foreign trip to which all key ministers and key military officials ever accompanied the Prime Minister to was to Kabul, back in April 2011. Kabul is and will remain the most important world capital for Pakistan, but our commitment is not just rhetorical or limited to meetings. It goes much further. In 2008, the average number of Afghans crossing the border every day was not 4,000, 44,000. In 2009, it rose to not 5,000, but 52,000. Today, nearly 60,000 Afghans cross the border with Pakistan every day for business, for jobs, for medical treatment, for education, or to visit relatives. Most visitors now undertake documented travel between the two countries by obtaining visas or visit permits than ever before. The numbers are rising, and the modality of these visits is also changing. Our missions in Afghanistan issued 250,000 multiple entry visas to Afghan nationals during 2010. Pakistan issues more visas to Afghans than the rest of the world combined. Most importantly, Pakistan does not charge any visa fee from its Afghan passport holders. Contrary to the craftily promoted perception that Afghans of only one particular ethnicity, and let me be specific, Pashtun, are welcomed in Pakistan, one finds people from all over Afghanistan in Pakistani cities. Our consular records show that visas issued to Afghan nationals closely represent the ethnic composition of the Afghan population itself. My own visit to Kabul on February 1st this year helped me verify this claim in person. Outside government, outside meeting my counterpart and calling on President Karzai, I met with Ustad Muhakkik, Yunus Kanuni, Ahmed Wali Masood, Faizullah Zaki, and Dr. Abdullah. You'll note the ethnic diversity of this list of our Afghan brothers. But brothers, all of them. Pakistan has no interest on what the ethnicity or the geographical background of an Afghan is. Pakistan is only interested in Afghan as a sovereign national of Afghanistan. This sense of fraternity is the only explanation for why over 3 million Afghan refugees continue to live in Pakistan. A resource burden to Pakistan, but even today continue to live in Pakistan. For 30 years, they have called Pakistan their home. The Afghan cricket team captain grew up playing the sport in Pakistan, and what a talent he is. At one point, over 5.5 million Afghans were living in Pakistan. 37% of the refugees who voluntarily repatriated to Afghanistan are back in Pakistan within weeks. What do they do in Pakistan? Today, over 7,000 Afghan students are enrolled in Pakistan's colleges and universities. This represents about 60% of all Afghans studying in institutions of higher education abroad, all over the world. In addition, about 500,000 Afghan refugee children attend schools in Pakistan. To facilitate the capacity building efforts of other donors, Pakistan also encourages third-party sponsorship of training of Afghan students and officials in its own institutions. Under this policy, over 500 Afghan nationals attended courses in the field of agriculture, from a few weeks' duration to postgraduate degrees in the Agriculture University of Peshawar alone. Scores were trained in other professions ranging from medicine to civil aviation. Most successful professionals in today's Afghan society have studied in Pakistan. They dominate the workplace not only in government offices, international organizations, and NGOs, but also as professionals, as businessmen, as entrepreneurs, as skilled and semi-skilled laborers. And most proudly, Afghan graduates from Pakistani universities are paid significantly higher salaries than graduates from any other neighboring country. Pakistan is further providing 2,000 fully funded graduate and postgraduate scholarships to Afghan students in its institutions of higher learning over the next 4 years. The placements are being made in 10 different fields, from medicine to IT to agriculture. The first batch of the students under the program left for Pakistan in 2010. We are now in our third year. Over 90% of Afghans who seek medical treatment abroad, medical treatment abroad visit Pakistan. Most of the Afghan patients opt for free treatment at government or philanthropic healthcare facilities. Moneyed Afghans are welcomed by many countries, but for their less fortunate compatriots, only Pakistan opens its doors. Just a few examples of the effects of this facility. 40% of patients in Peshawar's major government hospitals and 11% of patients in the tertiary hospitals all over Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan are Afghan nationals. Over 50% patients in major government hospitals in Quetta are Afghan nationals. And 2 Pakistani philanthropic hospitals perform free eye surgeries on about 30,000 Afghans every year. Since 2001, Pakistan has also played an active but unpublicized role in Afghanistan's reconstruction and providing humanitarian assistance. Pakistan has built faculties and facilities at Kabul University, Nangarhar University in Jalalabad, and Balkh University in Mazar-e-Sharif. The Rahman Baba High School in Kabul was completed in 2009, where 120 students are currently enrolled. The Jinnah Hospital complex is under construction in Kabul. Once completed, it will provide the most modern health facility in the country. Our help has been instrumental in building the Nishtar Kidney Hospital in Jalalabad. Afghan doctors, paramedics, and technicians to run this facility are also trained in Pakistan. The building of the 200-bed Naib Aminullah Khan Lugari Hospital has almost been completed in Logar. We've built roads and highways like the Torkham-Jalalabad road in eastern Afghanistan. We've provided direct cash assistance. We've provided food packages as humanitarian aid. We are also building 2 eye hospitals, a limb center at Badakhshan and 2 new medical centers in Kabul and Jalalabad. All told, Pakistan has committed about $300 million for reconstruction and assistance projects in Afghanistan. The dollars we spend are more effective in Afghanistan, where our overhead costs are lower than any other country that is spending money in Afghanistan. And all of this is not benevolent. Our businesses are also engaged in job growth in Afghanistan in pursuit of profits. The state-owned National Bank of Pakistan was the first foreign bank to operate in Afghanistan after 9/11. The telecommunications and technology industry in Afghanistan depends heavily on Pakistani manpower. Pakistan is also the largest trading partner of Afghanistan, while Afghanistan is Pakistan's 3rd largest market. Pakistan has provided transit trade facility to Afghanistan for decades without any reciprocity. We have just renegotiated the transit trade facility and are now going by APTA, or Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement. We are constantly trying to improve both the infrastructure and the quality of the transit facility that we provide to Afghanistan. Now, as far as the state for play for reconciliation talks are concerned, ladies and gentlemen, contrary to clever wordplay and cheap headlines, Pakistan's position cannot be more clear, and therefore I would not like to say more about it than just clearly articulating what Pakistan's position vis-a-vis Afghan reconciliation process is. We will support any, and I say any and I mean any, and all initiatives that are all-inclusive, that are Afghan-led, that are Afghan-owned, and that are Afghan-driven. This is our first and last prerequisite. It's the only precondition that Pakistan has. Moreover, we have confined ourselves to do absolutely nothing to block any other initiative that any country, group of countries offers to Afghanistan or for Afghanistan, anywhere in the world. Nothing is as dear to Pakistan's national interest than peace, stability, and security in Afghanistan. It is from where we derive our own security. It is from where we derive our own stability. But we will not lead. We cannot lead. We cannot even pretend to lead. We will only follow what our Afghan brothers and sisters decide to be the course of action that they adopt. That is the promise that we have made, and that is a promise that we do not make to you or to any other people, but a promise to the Pakistani nation. It is a policy we pursue for the Pakistani people. That is who has suffered from a lack of peace and a lack of stability and a lack of security in the region. That is who we represent, and that is who we work for, the Pakistani people. Therefore, I thank the Pakistani people for giving me the opportunity to represent them here today in front of you, and I thank you all for a very patient hearing.